Peace, Brodies. It's the Lord here. Cold World, and I'm over here kicking it with my main man, J-WIGG. Was good, sir?
Good, bro.
Can't call it, man. Just want to welcome all the Brodies back to another installment of the Brodie Sports Talk here. Definitely appreciate everybody. Just to give you guys a count update, we are now over 10,000. We're over 10,000 views and counting. So if you're not following, you need to follow us at the Brodie Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok. Again, we're at 10,000 views and counting, so definitely appreciate the support. But to go ahead and kick everything off, as usual, we're going to start off with our opening take. Now, if those who haven't been watching the semifinals list, or finalist list rather, for the 2025 NFL Hall of Fame class was just announced, and just want to give the Brodie world our take on it here. So to get started, just to give you what we are looking at here from an offensive standpoint, there's 14 players nominated, and there's 10 players on defense nominated, and then there's one special teams player nominated. So on offense, we got quarterback Eli Manning. Okay, he's nominated. We got two running backs. We have Fred Taylor and Ricky Waters. We got 5 wide receivers. We have Anquan Bolden, Torrey Holt, Steve Smith Sr., Hines Ward, and Reggie Wayne. From there, we got a tight end in the name of Antonio Gates. We got 5 offensive linemen. We got Willie Anderson, Jari Evans, Richmond Webb, Steve Wisniewski, Marshall Yonda. And that's your offensive candidates there. From there, we got defense. We got four defensive backs. We got Eric Allen. We got Rodney Harrison, Earl Thomas from the Legion of Boom, and we got Darren Woodson from the old 90s Cowboys. We got 3 linebackers. We got James Harrison. We got Luke Kuechly, and then we got Terrell Suggs. All right. Then on the defensive line standpoint, we got Jared Allen, pretty solid player. We got Robert Mathis from the championship Colts, and then we got Vince Wilfork from the Dynasty Patriots. And then the lone special team player is kicker Adam Vinatieri. So quite a lot to choose from, but out there in the Brodie world, feel free to again comment on our platforms on Brodie Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok, and let us know who you think got snubbed or who you think should get in. But to go ahead and get started, man, I'm going to give you the 3 locks that I think that are going to get in. The first person that I think is a lock to get in is Antonio Gates. During that tight end era with him and Gonzalez, you can maybe squeeze Gronk in there. Antonio Gates was one of the best tight ends in the league. You really can't mention anyone else during that era outside of Tony Gonzalez, other than Antonio Gates, really, when you kind of think about it. So he was one of those top tier tight ends at the time. He has countless records, and I think he was undrafted, if I'm not mistaken. But he's definitely a lock. He had all the accolades to back it up. The next lock here, I'm going to go with Luke Kuechly. I think he was a game changer when he first came in. I think he's a certified Hall of Famer. He retired early. I think that's one of the reasons why that's giving him more of a nod, because he left at the peak of his career when he was dominating, and that kind of helps sustain your legacy, because it gives you that what if factor if he would have played a little longer, just like Barry Sanders or Gale Sayers. So he's the second lock for me. And then the third lock is Adam Vinatieri. And I think one of the things that people don't understand about football, something that I used to preach all the time when I coached football, my mentor used to tell me all the time, is that games are won and lost on special teams. Championships are won and lost off of special teams. The Patriots dynasty would not be what they were if it hadn't been for Adam Vinatieri. I mean, he won them their first three rings. And he's arguably the most clutch kicker in NFL history outside of Tucker and I think Buckner out there in Kansas City. So those are my 3 locks. And as far as the ones that I don't think are going to get in, I mean, unfortunately, I believe there's only 8 final people that make the list. So unfortunately, a lot of these people are just going to get snubbed. But Fred Taylor, Ricky Waters, and Steve Smith Sr. are not going to make it this year. Um, Fred Taylor and Ricky Waters, they've been semifinalists, for a while now. Ricky Waters, I like him, but I just don't see him being a Hall of Famer. I think he's one of those really really good players like Clinton Portis, but he's not a Hall of Fame player. Fred Taylor, he was definitely dominant, but again, like one of those really good running backs. I mean, I can't remember him winning any MVPs or enough rushing titles or anything like that. And Steve Smith Sr., I love his attitude. I think he out of those three are eventually going to get in. But right now, I don't think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Just to be fair. So I hate to say it. There's a whole bunch of people on here. Like the receivers don't get no love. Anquan Bolden, I hate to say it. I don't know what he's done. I don't see him making it. Reggie Wayne should make it. I like Hines Ward, but I don't think he's going to make it. Marshall Yonda, he's one of the best guards I've ever seen play the game. So I wouldn't be shocked if he makes it. Eli Manning, he's not a first ballot, but you can quote me. He's going in, but he's not going in first ballot. I think they're going to make him wait till next year. But he beat the undefeated Patriots, y'all. And for a brief stint, he was lights out on the road. Uh, this guy's a four-time Pro Bowler. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. And when it came to clutch football in the early 2000s, Eli Manning was your guy, okay? And outside of Joe Flacco, he was the most clutch football player in NFL history in my eyes. Because on the road, the guy got it done. I think Joe Flacco's second all time in road wins on the playoffs, and I think Eli's right around that same threshold. So, yeah, I mean, in the playoffs, Eli got it done. But there's so many players, man. James Harrison, Terrell Suggs. I think Earl Thomas should get in, but a lot of these guys are going to get snubbed. One person that got snubbed in my personal, Joe Jacoby, he's part of the Hogs, of the Skins dynasty. He still hasn't made it. So there's so many players that aren't going to get in, and so many players that should get in. So many players that are on the list and shouldn't make it. But what do you think, Wiggs?
Man, what a list. First of all, let's just clap it up for all the Hall of Fame finalists.
Yeah,
Just get to the board and clap it up for those guys. This is a really good. I mean, we talked about this list before we got on, and I said it's really hard to narrow it down to three. For me, three Hall of Fame finalists. Like you said, they're probably gonna do 8. I think they're gonna. They don't have to do 8, but I think 8 is kind of like the limit.
yeah,
I think they're gonna get 8 this year, but I could be wrong. Because our list, I'm surprised that our lists are not in agreement. Not only surprised, but somebody that I have going in, you said they're not gonna make it. So
okay.
this is this
Okay.
is
This is
this
the
is good.
argument.
This is exactly. This is why this is so good. And I think I'll talk about why I chose my players, but I'll just give you the list first. So to make it, I have Steve Smith Sr.
Okay.
Now I'm not thinking about first ballot. I think you made a really good point about like, first ballot versus will they get in later down the line. I definitely think Steve will get in later down the line. Now that you make the mention that this is first ballot, I actually think you're going to be right on that one. But I think Steve Smith deserves to get in. I would be banging my hand on the table for Steve Smith to get in the Hall of Fame. So I like Steve Smith.
Okay.
My second one will be Adam Vinatieri.
Okay. Yep.
Goat, man. Like you said, he won them at least 3, if not more, chips.
Yeah.
Not to say won them, because it's a team effort.
Well,
But
no,
he was
technically the first two he kicked the game-winning field goal, so technically he did win them.
exactly. If he missed, they would have said he lost them. So
Yep.
we can say he won them those two. Um. So yeah, Adam Vinatieri. And then my number 3 is so funny. Fred Taylor, another one that you said would not
Mm,
make it. So I'll just get into why I chose my 3. These are the 3 names that for me stood out the most. When I think back to my childhood, Steve Smith is a dog, man. Like
yeah.
he's one of the greatest competitors I feel like the league has ever seen when it comes to like pound for pound players in the league. I
Yeah.
think Steve Smith pound for pound is one of the toughest guys. in the league. That's why I think he has to get in. Adam Vinatieri, like what more can you say? The guy's made kicks. You could almost say he made Tom Brady a legend because if Tom
Yeah,
Brady if he misses those kicks, it's kind of like the argument about LeBron versus Jordan. The big reason that LeBron hasn't overtaken Jordan is because he doesn't have the chips. If
yeah,
Brady loses two or three more chips, he's probably not the GOAT.
yeah. Or at least not so
He's not the
argued by
runaway
the
favorite.
masses to
Like
be the GOAT. Yeah.
exactly. It's the same way Jordan. I mean, now there's an argument that Bron could be the GOAT. But Brady, it's
We'll do
no
that in
argument.
the
Brady's the GOAT.
NBA season.
Listen, we didn't get there
I've
yet,
been
but
cooking. I'm over here cooking some stuff up, yo. I can't wait till we start talking about the NBA because I got some shit to say. But go on.
hey, let us know. Let us know in the comments. Do you guys want us to get into the NBA sooner or later? Because we're gonna try to stick to football, but it's been a couple dunks I've wanted to post. Like it's been some good dunks this year. But hey, let's stay on track. So yeah, Adam Vinatieri, and then yeah, Fred Taylor. I think I would have to listen to your argument about why you say Fred Taylor won't make it because I think I'm not looking at stats or anything. Like I said, my list is pretty much what players do I remember the most, and I really
Yeah,
remember Fred Taylor to me stood out as a really good running back. Like you said, no MVPs, but I do think they got to the Super Bowl, if not, if at least
I
the
think they got
AFC
the NFC
Championship.
in the AFC title game. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
they ever made the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, if they didn't make it, but yeah, I remember him being a really good back. I feel like he had a really good year, but if I was judging running backs, I would take Fred Taylor over Ricky Waters. I think he made a good point about Ricky Waters. He was a good back, but I don't remember his name being like he had a big name, but yeah, no, for me he wasn't Hall of Fame. It wasn't the Hall of Fame names. Um, I think you mentioned some of the linebackers, James Harrison, and Terrell Suggs. Which of those two would you go with if you had to pick one of those two to get in?
well, I mean, I think Luke Kuechly is definitely a class above those three,
Mm-hmm.
player wise, but I would probably say Terrell Suggs. I mean, it's tough.
Mm.
There's really no wrong answer here because James Harrison is a beast,
Yeah,
but
no, that's why this is so good because I would go with James Harrison.
I think Terrell Suggs only because the Ravens defense was sustained a little bit longer after Ray left. And I just can't remember
And
James Harrison after that Super Bowl really being that dominant. You know what I'm saying? But like again, there's
a
no
lot of his
right or wrong
dominance
answer
was in
here.
the weight room, maybe more so than it was on the field. You
Yeah,
know,
I
because
mean, yeah,
James Harrison was like setting records on the in the weight room for stuff, but it's like, what are
yeah,
you doing on the field?
right. So you think? So who do you think? Who are your three as far as who you think are going to get snubbed this year?
So snubs. Again, I'm going with names that I don't know. Steve Wisniewski,
Okay,
Richmond Webb, and
okay,
Jari Evans. I don't know really. I know Jari Evans. I remember him just because I guess that's a little bit closer to our age range. But the other guys, I don't know you guys. So you got to prove it. If you can't prove it, then I
yeah.
I haven't heard of you, man.
Well, here's the thing, man. When it comes to the Hall of Fame uh, criteria for me, and I think a lot of the voters have this criteria is number one, did you make an impact on the game? Can you talk about the sport of football, without mentioning this person's name or not? If you can't do it, then that's a checkbox. Like Randy Moss, you can't talk about the NFL without talking about Randy Moss. So is he a game changer? Number two, did you have to plan? Did you have to make a game plan to stop this person? Like, again, another great example, Adrian Peterson. Did you have to game plan specifically for this person? Or did you just say, all right, well, we're just going to focus on, I don't know, just running this particular package as far as the defense. Not okay, y'all. We got all day this week. We need to make sure that we got 8 in the box, and this is what we're going to do. Or we got Vic this week, y'all. So the Mike linebacker, your assignment is to look at number 7 the entire 60 minutes. Do you make game plans for this person? And then the last thing, obviously, would you got to have the stats, right? Are you, are you, a top 10 in this particular category? Or did you set records in this, for this particular season that stood the test of time? Things like that. Those are the things that I look at. The biggest thing is, can you talk about the game of football without mentioning this person? And unfortunately, I can talk about football without mentioning Ricky Waters. Only the real football heads would know about Ricky Waters. Now,
Nah,
Fred
that's fair.
Taylor, he has a higher chance of making the Hall of Fame over Ricky Waters because I think he has a couple of rushing titles, if I'm not mistaken. So he had to be game planned for, but did he make an
Exactly.
impact? I don't know because I believe he came in that mid to late 90s era. So you still had Terrell Davis, you still had Emmitt Smith, you had Edgerrin James, so you had more running backs that were bigger household names. And unfortunately, Jacksonville wasn't really a major market back then. So he had an uphill battle. But
I think like you said, if we look back and see he had, let's say he had 3 Russian titles and we see who he
let's take a
beat,
look.
I think that's what'll maybe put Fred Taylor, a bit ahead of some other guys, or maybe that'll be the reason he should get in.
Let's
Like,
take a look at his career stats here real quick.
okay. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about your list real quick. Antonio Gates. One of the interesting thing about Antonio Gates, he was snubbed last year. He didn't even make
Yeah,
it into the semifinalist list. So I think that was a really cool thing to see you put Antonio Gates in your list because I think he deserves it.
yeah.
Like you said, he's a you can't talk about tight ends without talking about Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez from that time period, and that
They
really
were
led to
basically one
the
and two. Yeah.
exactly, and that led to the Gronks and the George Kittles, um, and players like that. So yeah, Antonio Gates to me is definitely Hall of Fame. Luke Kuechly, man, that guy could do it all. I was thinking about this the other day. Outside of Ray Lewis, what linebackers from our childhood will we go to? I guess it would be Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher. Urlacher for sure. He was a beast. But then I think it's like Luke Kuechly is
Yeah.
is the next best linebacker.
Like
When
he
I
was
think about
legit, man.
yep. So Luke Kuechly definitely to me is a Hall of Famer. And then Vinatieri, we that's the one that we both agree on, which is just funny. The special teams player Vinatieri is that good. That's the one we both agreed on. So I thought that was cool. Let me ask you about receivers before you get into the stats for Fred Taylor. Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, or Anquan Bowden. If you have to pick one, which one are you going with?
It's between Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt.
For
Torrey Holt
sure.
was part of the greatest show on turf. Reggie Wayne was part of that Colts uh, team that just was running people for like decades straight. I think they went 10 straight season with 10 or 11 plus wins. Anquan Bolden, I really don't see how he's making the list. I love Anquan Bolden, don't get me wrong, but I don't see what he's done to be even in the finalist list of Hall of Fame. But if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with my man Reggie Wayne, only because I like the U. But Torrey, actually, you know what? Scratch that. Give me Torrey Holt, only because Torrey Holt, he was like he flew under the radar after that greatest show on turf era kind of ended when Marshall Falk left and Kurt Warner left, and they had what was that do with the Steven Jackson and I forgot their
Mark
quarterback name.
Bulger.
Bolger, yeah, and he was still like one of the top receivers in the league. Yeah, I'll take Torrey Holt. But wide receivers and tight ends, which can kind of be lumped into the receiver category, and special teamers, they don't get any love, man. That's why I said like championships are won and lost on special teams. Brian Mitchell should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, like Ray Guy, the punter for the late '70s Raiders, up until Hester, I think he was the only special teams player to make it into a Hall of Fame. A lot of people don't know about Ray Guy. He was the only punter in NFL history to be taken in the first round by Al Davis. Little NFL history fact there. But he was one of the most dangerous kickers in the world. Like I mean, he averaged 50 yards a punt back when 50-yard punts were not even heard of. So he
Mm-hmm.
changed. He literally like gave the position battle or yardage battle or territory battle back to the Raiders. So that helped a lot in in regards for them winning games. And like I said, we said Adam Vinatieri, man, he's won championships off a field goal. So they got to give him some more love here. But Fred Taylor, he's got 11,695 yards. I don't even
Did they
know if
show? Did
that's
they show
top.
his rank? Yeah, I was gonna say,
Nah,
did they
this is
show
on
his rank?
ESPN.
Okay,
Um,
we'll have to do that when you get done with that one.
yeah, we'll have to see where that ranks. Let's do this. How about we do all-time rushing lists?
And then that and do you see anything that shows if he led any of those seasons? Or let's just look at his seasons and see if he had any seasons over 1,500 or 1,600 yards.
Let's see. So Fred Taylor is 17th all time on the rushing yard list. He's not even top 15, not even top 10.
Give me the three that are in front of him. Just the three in front of him.
Thurman Thomas, Hall of Famer.
Mhm.
Franco Harris, Hall of Famer. Marcus Allen, Hall of Famer.
That's it right there, Co. That's where he gets in. He's surrounded by Hall of Famers. Give me the three behind him.
He's got Steven Jackson. We just mentioned him.
Hmm.
Uh we got the Diesel himself, John Riggins. And then we got
Mm.
Corey Dillon rounding up at number 20.
Ooh.
So I mean, he's got the
Is John
yards.
Riggins in? Is John Riggins in?
Yep. He's a Hall of Famer.
So I do think
Um,
that I don't think Steven Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame.
no.
So I would say this is probably where it gets shaky. Steven Jackson, Fred Taylor, Corey Dillon. I would say, yeah, that's where the running back list starts to get shaky. Like if you want to be if you want to be in the Hall of Fame, you need to get I guess I would say Fred might be the cutoff for me. Because I have
Yeah.
Fred in. So he might be the cutoff for me.
Yeah, like I said, I think he'll get in because character also plays a role too. Like
He's a good yeah.
the public, the media hated Randy Moss until he started cleaning up this image and becoming a sports broadcaster on ESPN. And next thing you know, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. But To, he wasn't a fan favorite in the media, and just to make him, hurt, they made him wait a year when we all knew he was a first ballot. So I
Yeah,
think his
I didn't even
character is
think
going to
about
help
that.
get him
Because
in. Yeah,
Fred has the podcast, right? Fred
I think
Taylor
he does. I
with
think he does.
Ryan Clark. Yeah, they have that podcast. So shout out to Fred Taylor and Ryan Clark.
12
Yeah,
years in the NFL too. Have a nice career. But
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. I feel like he had a long career. He was getting like probably 1,000 yard season for a lot of seasons. So yeah, I like that one, man. Eli, we didn't talk about Eli. You said Eli is in, huh?
he's not getting in this year. I think he gets in next
Okay,
year. I think he gets
okay.
in next year.
Eli has
And
two chips though, right?
he's got two chips against Tom Brady. Against Tom
I feel
Brady.
like that's it right there.
That
Like
alone. He beat
that
the
alone.
undefeated team in '07, right? And then he beat him again, I think, 2 years later, something like that. He's
Beat
like
the
I said, he's a four-time
undefeated
Pro Bowler.
team with Tom Brady. That alone, like that should get you in. Sorry if I'm yelling, but that's
Eli,
gotta
I
get
love
you
Eli.
in.
I love he's going to make it. I don't care what no one says. They can argue all they want, and people would say who had a better career, him or Philip Rivers. I'm going to say Eli Manning. He won two titles. Philip Rivers is the
Exactly.
AFC
We
version
play to
of
win the
Tony
game.
Romo.
We
Like,
play to win the game. Give me Eli over Philip Rivers for
yeah,
sure.
but that was a great take, bro. Like Brodie's out there. If you're not following us again, you need to follow us at Brodie Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, but also on TikTok. Again, we're at 10,000 views and counting. The next goal is 15,000. Continue to like and share. We definitely appreciate it. But moving on here, let's go on to the weekly reviews here. So for the weekly reviews, right now, the record here, I'm catching up to you, sir. Right now, I'm at 7-5. Wiggs is at 8-4. He went 1-3 with
Heck,
his picks last week. I went 2-2 with mine. So let's go ahead and get into the recap. So for starters, we'll go ahead and talk about the Commanders. I chose the Commanders to split with the Eagles, and they were going to lose on the road game. So I was correct with that. Um, and we had the Bills and the Chiefs. I chose the Chiefs to stay undefeated. You chose the Bills to end that streak, and you were correct. We also chose, well, actually, you chose the Ravens. I chose the Steelers, and I was correct with that. And then I was also wrong about we were both wrong about the Niners and the Seahawks. Um, I mean, like I said, I expected us to split, so I'm not shocked that we lost. We don't really play well in Philly historically, but times will change eventually. But I mean, we were coming off. It was a short week, right? We were playing Sunday, and then we had a short week. The Not making excuses, but the Eagles did have a longer time to rest, and we had them. We had them on the ropes, and then we just made that mistake of trying to go for it on fourth down, and we lost all the momentum. Now, to be the advocate for for Mr. Quinn, I get why he wanted to go for fourth down because the defense was bending and was about to break. So it was like, okay, if we go for it now, we're what, 11 for 12 on fourth down now. So it's not like we're poor on fourth down. If we convert this fourth down, there's 4 minutes left in the game. We can control the clock. And even if we don't score, we can a touchdown, we can still kick another field goal and still go up with less time on the clock. But missing that set us up for failure because, like I said, we were about to break on defense, and Saquon was Saquon, and the rest is history.
okay. So let's talk about this Dan Quinn decision. That's a good point. Do you kick the field goal down? Well, they were down 12-10. If you kick the field goal, you go up 13-12. I think it's only about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like you said, the defense was getting to that point of bending and maybe being about to break. But I think if you kick the field goal there, the defense says, "Okay, we got to do is hold them to a field goal, or let's just, if we can hold them to a field goal, then we can just get another field goal." So
Mm-hmm.
I think that really did take the momentum out of the team. A couple of the things that I was thinking about, they weren't offensively, they weren't playing well.
Yeah, they
They
weren't.
only had 10 points in the fourth quarter. So although the numbers said they were 11 of 12 up until that point, 11 of 11 on fourth down before the game. So they had already gone for fourth down and not gotten it in this game. So I felt like you said, let's talk about momentum. I felt like momentum wasn't on their side. Offensively, defensively, we talk about this team every week. We bet against them every week, and they've been the easiest bet of the season is just betting against
Mm-hmm.
the defense. Um, but offensively, let me talk about why the Eagles' defense. Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle, he's a dog. He's a menace. He's so good. I would maybe put him behind Chris Jones as far as defensive tackles in the league. And then Quinyon Mitchell for the Eagles, the defensive back that was
Yeah,
checking Terry McLaurin.
a rookie shut him down.
Shut down. This dude is good. This dude is really good.
Yeah, he's legit.
Um, he's legit. I saw a couple stats of him just checking Terry. It looked easy for him. Like he was blanketing Terry, and it looked easy. It looked like Terry was working so hard. I
Yeah,
felt so bad
yeah,
because it looked like
yeah,
Terry was working so hard to get open,
yeah,
and he was shut down. So, um, I give a lot of credit to the Eagles defense in this game. They beat us. I would say fair and square. Like,
yeah. It was a legit ass whipping.
It was a
Like
legit
there's no
beating.
sugarcoat it. Like I said, I'm not making any excuses. But to your point, they lost the momentum when they didn't get that fourth down. I understand why he went for fourth on fourth because they've been doing it all year. I get it, but I agree. Like if they would have kicked the field goal, that kind of would have put the pressure on the defense and say, hey, look, we've been holding them so far. We just need to make one more stop, and then we can run the clock out. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yep. Ravens Steelers. Man,
I told you.
I'm ready to fire John Harbaugh. Like, I'm so done with this team. I want to say a lot of expletives right now. I mean, I know this is on YouTube, but bro, I'm fucking pissed off at the Ravens, man. Like,
Yeah, I don't get what's going on over there. I think what's
it's
happening, they're trying, like we've been saying since we started this whole thing. I think John Harbaugh could be trying to uh, keep him on ice, keep him fresh for the playoffs. But if you're not going to give him the ball 15 plus times, which has been proven to give you a higher probability of winning, then just run the ball, period. Like run it with the other running backs or run it with Lamar. Now Lamar's I think he's a
he
little
played
banged
well.
up. So
He's banged
I
up, but
get it.
he played what? Let me say this. Let's go to the Steelers defense again. Let's give the Steelers defense credit because um, I think when we were coming into the Eagles game, one of the reasons I picked the Commanders because I said they have a top five offense. The Ravens have a top 10 offensive, not a top five offense. So I thought they could beat the Steelers as well. The Steelers defense showed what they could do against the Commanders offense, and they showed what they could do against this Ravens offense. They held I'm not even going to say they held Derrick Henry to a low average. He had 5 yards a carry.
Yeah,
That's great. If your running back can get 5 yards a carry, give him more carries. But he only got 13 carries, so he only had 65 yards. He had another touchdown. So keep giving him the ball. If he gets 20 carries, this is a different game. This is a completely different outcome.
yeah,
So that's it right there. But I'll give the Steelers defense credit. They handle Lamar. They know how to handle these running quarterbacks. They handle Jaden. They handle Lamar. So I'm gonna give the Steelers credit. Um, Bills Chiefs. I went back and watched this game because I didn't see it live, and I think what happened in this game is Andy Reid is gathering information when he
mm,
plays the Bills, the Ravens, the Bengals, any team that he thinks he might meet in the playoffs. I
mm-hmm.
don't think he plays those games to win. I think he plays those
That's a good
games to
point.
gather information.
Because when
And
you
I
see him
think
in the
this,
playoffs, yeah,
and when I see
Mahomes
you
was
in the
actually quoted saying that. He's like, "Well, we'll do this again because they know they're going to meet him in the playoffs." That's a good point.
and they've met these guys in the playoffs a lot. I think Josh Allen is it's a crazy stat. I want to say he's 6-1 or 5-1 versus Mahomes. I think 6-1 now versus Mahomes in the regular season.
Yeah,
That's a crazy stat. But in the playoffs,
he's
he's
like 1 in
like,
3 or something.
yeah, one in
Yeah,
three. So win when it matters. And if you're not winning in the playoffs, it doesn't matter. So I think the Chiefs lost this one. You said undefeated. I thought the Bills could get it just because the Chiefs looked like they could lose and they did. But I think the Chiefs will win. And I said this last week. I think the Chiefs will win in the playoffs if they play
yeah,
again. Seahawks 49ers. The 49ers are looking old. The Seahawks, I said last week, I think I was trying to think of reasons that the Seahawks could win. And I think the 49ers just lost. I think they're still trying to figure out who they are. Um, McCaffrey still hasn't completely figured it out. Um, the O line is not as dominant as it once was, and the defense is not as dominant as it once
yeah,
was. So Brock Purdy to me is getting it done, but the weapons are just not completely. George Kittle didn't play last week.
Yeah, yeah,
And as soon as you take one of those pieces out of this offense, it affects them drastically.
yeah. Injuries has
So
really hurt them this year.
who? Oh,
I
injuries.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, injuries has really hurt them this year. I mean, to your
Yeah.
point, uh, what's his name? Christian McCaffrey. He's still in preseason mode. Like he's still trying to get in game shape. And
Mhm.
Kittle, he's off and on. Sassy Samuel is
Yeah.
Sassy Samuel. He's more concerned about his Rhythm Nation leather jackets that he's wearing. I cook that dude up,
Yeah.
yo.
What was that? What was that shit, bro? Like,
Yo,
what do you
this
have on,
dude
my
over
guy?
here looking like Michael Jackson and Beat It with all them
Oh
zippers.
man, he didn't
I
even
don't
look
get it.
confident. Like it's one thing if you're gonna have it on. Like Russell Westbrook will put some shit on, and he looks confident. Like I know this shit look crazy zesty, but this is what I want to wear. Debo did not look confident. He walked in the stadium like, why did I
Someone
do
paid him to put that
that?
on. I'm like, bro,
Somebody paid him to put that on, bro.
you're walking so uncomfortably.
Yeah,
Like you don't look like you're
yeah,
comfortable in that outfit,
yeah.
brother.
Like them shorts.
Okay,
Those
with
shorts
the
was not
hoochie
supposed to
daddy
be that
shorts
little, bro.
on. Like, like, what are you?
What are you doing, my
Why are
guy?
you wearing that? But even he's been injured. You know what I'm saying? So, and then on top of that, this is a contract year for Purdy, so they're kind of trying to put it on his shoulders to see if he can shoulder the load. And he doesn't have the weapons. I mean, Ayuk is out, so it's unfortunate. But I mean,
Let me
it
let
don't
me let
matter.
me
Go
let
ahead.
me ask you a question. Contract year for Purdy. I talked about this last week. These teams need to be creative with the quarterbacks and the contracts. Should Purdy position himself contract wise? He's gonna be offered probably between top 5 and top 10.
Yeah,
But should he take top 5 money because he can? That's what the market says. When is your time? You get top 5 money. Should he take top 5 money, top 10, top 15, top 20? What do you think Purdy should do for his career and for the 49ers? Because they're already losing. He's not even out of his
yeah,
rookie contract, and they're already losing. So
yeah. I would say if he wants to win, he will take whatever the Niners give him because I still feel like they can still recalibrate and add some extra pieces. They still have Kyle Shanahan. So yeah, I would definitely take what the Niners would give you if you want to win. But this is a capitalist country, and the NFL will cut your ass at the drop of a dime. So get your money. So I would say, look, the Raiders, they need a quarterback. Who else here? The Browns will probably be shopping for a quarterback. The Cowboys will probably be shopping for a quarterback. The Titans as well. I mean, the Patriots. Shoot, I'm taking. I mean, the Giants, unless Shador gets drafted or whatever. But I'm going with the highest bidder. Like I
so
love
you
the job I
say
work for now, but if I got offered more money from somewhere else, I'm giving you two fingers.
so you taking the Kirk Cousins route for Brock Purdy. Um, but you're saying leave. You're saying don't stay. Don't stay in San
I'm saying if
Francisco.
you want to
Go
win, stay.
to
But
the
if you want to get
highest
paid,
bidder.
leave because they're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him like that Dak
So you
Prescott money
you
being the
so
highest
you don't
paid
think the
player.
49ers will? You don't think the 40
No, no,
because
no.
they've what the 49ers have done is they've held out, but at the last minute they give in and they actually pay him. So
Because
that's
they
why
don't
I
pay their
think
quarterbacks. Like
I,
every
I don't
quarterback
think
they've
their
had,
quarterback. No, I agree, but I don't think their quarterbacks have been as. I don't think their
they
quarterbacks have
haven't
been as
won as
good as
much
Brock Purdy.
as Purdy. That's
I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say Brock Purdy is top. I'm definitely not gonna say he's a top 5 quarterback. I think he's right in that range of average quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. Like these are good
Oh, be
quarterbacks.
careful. Be careful.
I
Be
know. I
careful.
know. God,
We
he's
believe
coming
in
off
Jared
4
Goff over here.
touchdowns. But I think the thing is Jared Goff is in the best situation. He's got the
Yeah,
best offense. People talked about Dak Prescott when he came into the league. How good Dak Prescott looked. He had the best offensive line, a great running back, a great receiver. So again, Jared
yep.
Goff. when you put a guy in the best situation, they're gonna look good. And I think Brock Purdy, go 2 years back when Trent Williams is in his prime, Christian
Mm-hmm.
McCaffrey's in his prime, all the weapons are in their prime. Brock Purdy looks like a top five
Yeah,
quarterback in the
lights
league.
out.
So that's my thing with these quarterbacks is they're good. I would even say they're great if they're in a good situation, in a great situation. Um, but it depends on the situation. So,
Yeah,
so
I'm
yeah,
with
I
you.
think the 49ers should don't pay him. If you can get him in that 10 to 15 range, pay him. If not, let him walk.
They may franchise him. I think they can franchise him this year.
I think that's a good because I think he has the character to get franchised. Like I don't think you can franchise everybody. I think you
Yeah, I
that would
think
be a
I
good
think they give
option.
you one tag on offense and one tag on defense. So if they
Yeah.
can't come to common grounds on a contract, just franchise them for 1 year and figure it out later. Because I don't think the Niners are going to be anywhere near the top 10 draft picks this year to get a decent quarterback that's coming out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
And I think
so
the NFL needs to get rid of franchise contract. I'm gonna just say that.
the franchise tag,
I
yeah, that's
hate the
BS.
franchise tag. It's bullshit. It makes it feel like they own you, like you're a slave. Like
Yeah,
we don't have to get too deep into it, but how the hell are you gonna make me stay somewhere I don't want to be?
yeah,
That I don't like that. Let them go. If they don't want to be here, let them leave. It's bad for the team. It's bad morale. You know, you can see it with the 49ers this week, this year. Ayuk was saying he didn't want to be there. He's not there during training camp. They come to training camp, and even they do the deal late. The 49ers don't look good. CeeDee Lamb didn't get signed till late. The Cowboys don't look good. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins don't get signed. They try to franchise them. The Bengals aren't. The franchise
it
tag
happens
is
every
not the
year.
way to go. Like you can do it with the right positions, quarterbacks, because quarterbacks have to say all the right things, do all the right things.
Yeah,
You can franchise, but Kirk Cousins will show you again. You can't franchise everybody because if you bet on yourself and you win, then you get Kirk. So
yep,
yeah, I hate the franchise tag. I think they need to get rid of it. That's it's not my last take, but that's my
yeah.
middle of the show take right there.
Yeah. Well, Brody's out there. Let us know what you think about last week's recap. Go ahead and comment on all of our platforms like Brody Sports Talk and Instagram and YouTube. Go ahead and click on the bottom right hand corner so we can go ahead and add you to the subscriber list here. But moving along here with the review of next week, we got a couple of great games here. So, for starters, we got the Cowboys at Commanders. I think we can both agree that we're going to take the Commanders, unless you want to go out on a limb here.
I'm gonna go Commanders. I'm gonna go
Okay,
Commanders.
okay,
I'm
all
gonna
right.
go
I mean,
Commanders.
it any given Sunday, you know,
It's any
any
given
given
Sunday.
Sunday,
Yeah,
it's not a
we.
guaranteed win,
I mean,
but
it's a divisional game. I'll
yep,
just say that it's a divisional game, and you know we've seen it with the Giants this year. The Giants are not better than the Commanders, but they played, I think, to the fourth quarter in both games. So
yeah, yeah. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Jaden is still nursing the rib injury, but I think they play a little more conservative and run the ball more because the Dallas run defense is trash. So give me like a 27-21 type score.
let me ask you this: Why do you think? I don't know if you did. You hear Dan Quinn's comments about Jaden Daniel not being injured?
Well, I mean, he's clearly injured, and the press is going to ask him questions about it. So I think he did a great job by just deadening it in the water. Like, look, man, he's fine. Shut up. Like, we're not. We're even if you're going to ask me, I'm not going to tell you. That's what I love about this organization now.
I
We
like
don't
that. I
talk
like
to the
that.
media.
I like that.
Like by now we would have had a whole bunch of leaked anonymous crap.
Yeah,
Like no, they keep it close to the vest, and I love that. He's like, look, before you even ask me, he's good. Shut up.
I like
So
that.
yeah,
You know that's what, and I think that's what makes him a guy's guy. Like he's a coach that players want to play for. One, he's gonna protect you when you're injured. I think Marshawn Lattimore sat today again, but I think they're trying to ramp him up for. I don't know if we'll get to the injury. I don't want to jump too far ahead if we'll get to the injury report
I
later.
saw him jogging.
But yeah, I think he's looking good, but I think they're still taking their time. I
Yeah,
said it last week. I love what the Commanders are doing with injuries. Jade, last week's game is the first game where I think people were like, "Yo, that was questionable. Maybe Jaden shouldn't have played in that game." He missed a couple throws, but I mean, honestly, he missed maybe 4 or 5 throws. Like
yeah. It was
you said it last
PTSD,
week.
bro. It's
Relax.
PTSD.
We just gotta relax. Like
I had a little bit of PTSD when I was watching. I said, but wait a minute, I picked the Eagles to win. So chill out. Like RELAX, Skins fans, just relax.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're going to make the playoffs. Now, obviously, the hype that we were, experiencing, we were talking Super Bowl. That's still
Hey, we were
possible because
hyped.
if you make
We
the
were
playoffs, it's
hyped.
still possible. You know what I'm saying?
We were hyped.
But right now, let's just say we're going to be like a sixth or fifth seed in the playoffs or something like that if we don't win the division. But yeah, I mean, I like the Commanders, man. The Cowboys defense is atrocious. Their offense really isn't that good. So, but it's a division game and our defense isn't that good either. So, yeah, definitely look for a 27-21 victory. Next we got is Cardinals and Seahawks. Cardinals at Seahawks. Now, this is a division that's real tight right now. The Cardinals are 6-4. The Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners are all 5-5. So I think the winner of this matchup will probably either take first place solely in a tiebreaker or be tied for first place. So that's very important. Despite even if I don't know, you never know. Like everybody might win in this division, and everybody might be 6-5. That's crazy. But I am going to take the Cardinals on the road. And the reason why is because Kyler Murray, even though he's not going to win it, he's a MVP candidate right now. I think he, put himself in the top five, arguably. He's playing pretty well right now, and Connor is a stout running back, and they've had a bye week. Most teams play well off of a bye week, so I'm going to take the Cardinals over the Seahawks.
I like that one. And I like your reasoning. When I don't know, I usually go to the quarterback or the defense. I think the Seahawks defense might get the edge in this one, but I think Kyler gets the edge as far as quarterbacks. Now, I think Gino beat the Rams last week, and I picked the Rams over the Seahawks. So I'm not gonna say Gino can't win this game because they have three good receivers. Like that's the thing with the Seahawks. They have a lot of good weapons. They have a good
Yeah,
defense. So it's hard to game plan against them. And Gino kind of this is another one of those situations where it's a good quarterback, but it's a great situation.
yeah.
Three good receivers, two good running backs, a decent offense, really good defense. Man, this is tough one. So we both went with the Commanders. You went with Cardinals. All right, I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay. All right.
I wanna get this record away. I wanna move away from you. You got a little close in this record as far as pick'em. So
I'm one game
one
off,
thing
baby.
one thing I don't want to do though is pick a different team just because. But I do think the
True.
Seahawks can win.
Yeah, they definitely can, and they're at home. It's tough to win in that stadium. So yeah, you're definitely not wrong there. Um, Next we have is the Sunday night game, Eagles at Rams. Uh, I think defense travels, and that what was the cornerback's name? The rookie guy in Philly. What was his name again?
Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell. And what's the white boy's name? They had two white boys.
You talking about the
Blankenship, I
Rams?
think was the safety, and oh man, the Eagles. I'm sorry, the Eagles had another white boy cornerback.
I can't
I'm
remember
gonna
his
think
name.
about it, but he was
Like
good.
the Rams defense is actually pretty good, but I don't. The Eagles just have too many weapons, man. Like because if that cornerback, if that
Quinyon
cornerback on
Mitchell.
the you said what?
You talking about the Rams cornerback or the Eagles cornerback?
The Eagles cornerback. He's probably going to
Oh
travel
yeah.
with Cooper Cup,
Okay.
and Kyron Williams and Puka Nakua will probably get theirs. But the
Okay.
Eagles have Goddard, Brown, Smith, and then they still have Saquon Barkley, who should be an MVP candidate. But if you're not a quarterback, you don't really get a nod for that award anymore. So
Yeah.
and then of course you got Jalen still playing at a pretty decent high level. So I'm going to take the Eagles on the road against the Rams.
Let's make this easy. I'm going Eagles as well. Like I said, I'm not gonna pick another team just to go against the grain. I think the Eagles are one of the best teams in the league, so I'm gonna go Eagles as well. Like you said, I like their weapons. I like their defense as well. For me, when it
Yeah,
comes to pick'ems, like you got to be able to stop the other team because if you have a good quarterback like a Matthew Stafford who has weapons like he does, he's in a good situation. He has a good coach. Um, but the Eagles, to me, have a better defense. They have
yeah,
pressure from the front four, and then they also have a good secondary right now.
yeah.
So yeah, give me the Eagles in this one.
All right. So last but not least, it always falls down to Monday. We got the Ravens at the Chargers. Now, I love the Ravens. Again, they're my pick to win the Super Bowl this year, but the Chargers, they only allow 13 points a game. And they have a stout run game with Dobbins. And Herbert is playing the best quarterback managing football of his life. So, so having said that, it's a home game as well. I think the Chargers stay on this pace. Give me the Chargers over the Ravens.
I mean, what a game! Like you said, Monday night. So this is. Let's talk about this. The games that are played in prime time, to me, have a different feel than the games that are played at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Sunday. The
Gotcha.
primetime games are affected a little bit more by the refs. I feel like the refs make their presence known in the primetime games, and we saw with Zay Flowers, and I think one of the games we put Zay on our parlay. There were a couple plays called back in that game for Zay Flowers. I don't know if you tuned into the Texans game and saw
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins'
Mm-hmm.
long play
Well,
called
for
back.
that, I saw that.
It
It,
was a flag.
yeah,
It
it was
was.
an egregious flag, but still, yeah.
But
I think,
but the refs do a
yeah,
job in these games of, I guess, making sure the plays are what they are. So
yeah.
this game could come down to who has the better defense. The Chargers do have a good defense right now.
Let me see if I can sway your decision here, Wiggs. The Ravens are the number one penalized team in the league.
Yeah, and I don't like
They
that for prime
average
time.
8 to 10 penalties a game.
And I don't like that for prime time. I'm not liking their defense right now. I mean, their defense did enough versus Steelers. The Steelers have a good team. Their offense just, ooh, this is Harbaugh versus Harbaugh.
Damn, I just
Man, I didn't
realized
even
that.
think
That
about
is.
that. Oh
Yeah, the
man,
Chargers are
brother
going to
versus
win because he
brother.
lost to his brother in the Super Bowl.
That was that their last game against each other?
Yeah, I think so because this is his first year back in
Okay.
the league. Yeah,
Wow, what a storyline. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. Um, I think Jim Harbaugh is playing better football. He's coaching better football.
yeah,
Uh, Justin Herbert, like you said, is managing the game better. Lamar just he's making good plays. He's not so frustrating to watch, but it just feels like Lamar is playing like he's on rookie mode in Madden. Kind of like you know how
yeah,
you play your little brother on rookie mode or something. Like you know you can kind of do whatever you want. So and then you make a mistake and throw a pick, and it's like, oh wait, am I about to lose to my little brother?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's how Lamar kind of plays to me.
yeah.
And again, I don't know if that's coaching. I know what is coaching though. Derrick Henry got 13 carries again, and the Ravens lost. All I'm asking for is 18 touches for Derrick Henry, and you're gonna win. That's only five more carries, five more receptions, whatever it's gonna be. Get him the ball
Yeah.
five more times. You're probably gonna win the game. He's gonna be over 100 yards. Um, so, like I said, if they save him and they do it in the playoffs, great. If he's doing what I think Andy Reid is doing, which is gathering information in these games, great. I just better see it in the playoffs. But right now, let's go with the Chargers.
That so there you go, Brodies. We got the review here. So we're both taking the Commanders. We are going to split the difference on the Seahawks and Cardinals, right? You're taking the Seahawks, right?
Hmm.
And we both agree with the Eagles, and we split the difference with no, we both agree with the Chargers. So that is going to be the review for week 12. And let us know what you think here on Brody Sports Talk platforms here, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. On YouTube, go ahead and click on the bottom right hand corner and subscribe to the channel and like all of our other platforms. We greatly appreciate it. But without further ado, we got our fan favorite here. We got our WIGG Parlay Locks of the Week. And again, full disclaimer, these are our suggestions. We are putting our own money on these particular locks here. You can use these picks to build your own parlay, or you can build your entire parlay using our locks. I mean, we're hitting at a 62% clip. So, you
Oh
got to
no, it's
spend
up
big to
now.
win
We're
big.
back above 70% now. We went
Back up 70%.
4 or 5 last week. So
Yeah, that
yep, we're
Thursday
back
night
over
game
70.
actually was good. I think we went 3 for 3. So,
Three for
you
three.
know,
Yep.
uh, so definitely get in, y'all, on these parlays. Let us know how you're doing. And again, we're not going to disclose who our platform is until they cut the check. Now, moving right along here, we got our first leg here. Who do you got, Wicks?
Hey, I'm gonna need you to read the list. We're
This
doing the
guy
list
again.
together.
We got Jaden Daniels,
We're doing the
200
list
plus
together.
yards
So start
passing,
it off. I'm
minus
gonna let the people
220.
know. All right, yeah. So Jaden Daniels, 200 yards. Like I said, we're going over these lists together now. And I think that again, I think that's helping because sometimes you're not thinking about what your Brody might be thinking about. I looked at this one and I was thinking maybe Russell Wilson, and you said Jaden Daniels. It's Dallas week. Fuck the Cowboys.
It's Dallas
It's
week, baby.
Dallas
We're,
week,
we're, we're
man.
locking Jaden Daniels in.
Dan Quinn is saying it's no injury. Last week, Jaden Daniels said it's no it's no restrictions. I think we're gonna see it this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do whatever they want to do. They're gonna I think they're gonna beat the hell out of the Cowboys. Like, and this
Yeah,
is
I
home
want him
in
to blow him
DC.
out.
We're in DC, right?
Yeah, we're home.
I think they're gonna beat the hell out of the Cowboys this week. So Jaden Daniels over 200 yards. To me, this is a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think of? What do you think?
Jaden Daniels is a lock because he's been averaging about 200 yards a game anyway. The secondary isn't that strong in Dallas, and like I said, I think we're going to run the ball a lot more. So the play action pass is going to be there. Don't be shocked if we take a couple of shots to Terry or to De'Ami Brown or anybody like that. So yeah, definitely lock him in. I think that's an easy lock there. For the
And we didn't
second
do it
lock,
last week. We didn't do enough in the passing game last week. So you know the receivers are
yeah,
like we
yeah,
gotta
they're
get back
hungry.
in.
They're
Yeah.
hungry. So yeah, it's going to happen. And I think he had like 195. So like I said, he's averaging 200. So he should hit that mark. Um, but for the second leg, we got CD Lamb. I mean, it's Dallas week. Now, we got him at 50 plus yards receiving minus 230. I think that's the lock. What do you think, Wicks?
Yeah, this is another easy lock. We said every week we're Commanders fans. We watch this team. Our defense is not good. I do want to give a shout out to Mike Samerstill
Yeah.
holding AJ Brown. I mean, AJ Brown still I think got like 60 yards,
Yeah,
65 I think.
he still got his lock.
He still got his lock.
He didn't
But
score though. So he come
but
out the end zone.
San played him well. Even
Yeah.
watching the game, he matched up well with him. And Nick Saban said San pound for pound was pound for pound, one of the best players in this draft. Last year, Emmanuel Forbes, you could see the difference in size. Emmanuel Forbes versus AJ Brown. AJ Brown is bigger than Sam Steele, but Sam Steele, pound for pound, kept up with AJ Brown. It was crazy to see. So the Commanders' passing defense again is ranked high. It's actually a top 5 ranked passing defense, but
Hmm.
it's skewed because our rushing defense is so bad.
Yeah,
Teams don't have to pass against us,
yeah,
but when they want to pass against us, they can. So CD Lamb for 50 yards. This should be an. I think this is probably going to be the easiest lock of the week.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Moving on to the third, we got Mr. Nico Collins out there in Houston, 50 plus yards receiving, minus 300. What do you think, Wicks?
So let me see. The Texans are going against the Titans. The Titans are going to be without L'Jarius Sneed. Sneed is the cornerback that came over from the Chiefs,
Yep.
and he's one of their best defenders. So that makes a huge impact. Nico had 50 yards in his first game back after being on the IR last week. So I think he's going to continue. One thing I like about the Texans is they like to give their players the ball. Like they really give Joe Mixon a chance. They really give Nico a chance, and those are their two feature players. So Nico's going to get a chance. He's going to get the targets. 50 yards for him should be easy. Let's lock it in.
Yep, I agree. I mean, now that he's back, uh, that's his favorite. That's your boy's favorite target, CJ Stroud's favorite target. So 50 yards, poor defense, their best defensive players down. I definitely think that's an easy lock there. For the fourth leg, we're going to keep it on the Dallas week here. We got Mr. B Rob himself, 50 plus yards rushing, minus 310 for the odds there. What do you think, Wiggs?
Now, this is what I'll say about this one. B Rob, I want to say he got over 40 last week. So and this was very interesting about the Russian attack last week. I think Austin Eckler only got like 2 carries. He had 8 receptions last week.
Yeah,
Austin Eckler did,
yeah.
and this is where our analysis came in really well. Last week we had B. I don't know if we had B Rob on the lock last week, but I think he was either in the stardom.
We
We
had
had
a
him in the
combo, I
stardom
think.
sit
Yeah, we was in our stardom system.
He was in the stardom sit and you put both. You said put Robinson and Eckler, and they both had really good games. They both hit their numbers, and I think I said this later on the show last week. I said B Rob's gonna get the rushing and Eckler is gonna get the passing, and that's exactly what happened. Eckler
Yep.
had eight receptions for like 80 yards. B Rob, I want to say, had like 13 carries, average over 4 yards a carry. He hit his numbers, so all we're looking for is 50 yards. If he gets 12, if he gets 13 carries at 4 yards of average, he's gonna get it. I think he's absolutely gonna get those numbers versus Dallas. Dallas's defense again is trash. We're gonna beat the brakes off Dallas. So
Yep.
again, and this is how you beat a team that's bad. You shove it down their throats. Like we're not coming here to play games.
No pause
We're
on this one.
Yeah, no, we're coming here to ram it down your throat. Like
Pretty much.
and B Rob is the player to do that. So I can't
Yeah.
wait to see how they play this week. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's
I'm
Dallas week. Fuck Dallas all week. Let's
bruh.
go. B Rob is
I,
the lock.
I think 50 yards is a given. I'm think he's going to hit the century mark. Because their defense is that bad. I mean, every running back has a field day on them. So even with Micah Parsons in there, he's more concerned about his podcast anyway. So for the fifth leg, we got my main man Joe Mixon. Now this is a combo here for you guys. We got 75 plus yards rushing and receiving for minus 360. I think that's a lock given the way he's playing. What do you think, Wiggs?
I know this one is a little tough. I know for you, Co. Personally, Joe Mixon really got it done for me in fantasy last week. So again, most of these locks we're doing, we do the show on Wednesday night, so we don't have the full list. So kind of sometimes by the time we get to the fourth and fifth leg, it's like, do I like this? Do I like this? But I do like this one. Joe Mixon's playing well. The Texans are playing well, and again, the Texans feature Nico and Joe Mixon. You could see it last week. Joe Mixon was featured. Stephon Diggs ain't coming back.
Yep.
So this offense is going to continue to run through Joe Mixon. CJ Stroud is really more of a game manager, I think, than maybe we were thinking. You
Yeah.
know, I don't see him using his legs like I like to see some of the other quarterbacks do. Um, and the Texans do have a good defense. So to win, run the ball, get the ball to your number one target in Nico Collins, and run the ball with your number one running back Joe Mixon. So I think 75 for Joe is a good one.
Yeah, I mean their offense is tailor made for those two players. Dalton Schultz unfortunately just gets overlooked, so the ball goes either to one of those two players, and the third option is going to be Tank Dell, obviously. So yeah, so I think that is a good 5 leg parlay there. So again, full disclosure, we're using our own money to put on these bets, and use these picks at your discretion. Okay, we think these are locks. We haven't really done pretty too bad since. I mean, we're at 70% clip. So comment on all of our platforms, Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok, and let us know if these parlays are working for you. And if you hit, drinks are on you. But that is it for Wig Parlay Lock. Now let's move on to my favorite portion, and that is the Stardom Situm. Now, we got this is the longest portion of the show, so let's see if we can kind of breeze through it.
Yep. So
But it's just
buckle
so
up,
much
folks.
information out there.
I'm telling
It,
you.
it's tough to not bring it up because it's important information to really use in your starting sit-em list, especially if you're like in your leagues that you got money on the line. So it's pertinent, especially now we're headed into week 12. We got 3 more weeks before the playoffs start, so
Oh man.
these wins are going to start becoming more pertinent. But to kick things off, for the quarterbacks, I got Justin Herbert. I think he's going to play pretty well. I mean, like I said, the Ravens secondary is not the best, and Herbert is a great game manager. What he's going to be doing is handing the ball off to J.K. Dobbins and then doing play action on bootlegs throughout the entire game. So I think he's going to give you the numbers you need in regards to a starting quarterback, which I think is like 25 plus points. If he can't give you 25 points, you shouldn't be starting him. So go ahead and start Justin Herbert. Next, shocker, we got Jaden Daniels, okay, against a poor Dallas defense. Go ahead and start him. I think he looks to get back on track. And I think he's going to have a breakout game. Look for him to pass for 300 yards, even though the lock was for 200. I think he might go for 300. And then last but not least for stardom, I don't care what no one says. I've been lobbying for this man since we started this show, and that's Mr. Bo Nix.
Brodie.
Okay,
Brodie.
I've been saying start this man since we've been doing this, and I haven't been wrong since. Start Bo Nix, and the reason why is because he's going against the Raiders, and Bo Nix, I hate to say it, is actually possibly the front runner for Rookie of the Year. You can
Took
make
the
an
words
argument now
right
because
out of my mouth.
he's playing pretty well. I think Jaden has a chance to win it. Obviously, I think he's still the favorite to win it. But right now, if the season were to end, hey man, like right now, like yeah, you can make an argument for both. They're playing lights out. Let's see, they are, despite what people don't know, they're 6-5. So they're still in the playoff running. The AFC West is going to be kind of tight for that second wild card berth possibly. So yeah, go ahead and start Bo Nix. And yeah, so who you got for the stardoms here? You agree with those?
I agree, and I think we talked about a lot of these already. Outside of Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. We talked about the Chargers and the Ravens, so I think he is going to have a really good game versus the Ravens. Start him. Jaden Daniels as well. Commanders versus Cowboys. Cowboys defense is trash. Start Jaden Daniels. Bo Nix, man. Let's talk about that Rookie of the Year conversation a little bit. I think you're right. Jaden is still ahead of Bo, but Jaden has missed one game while Bo hasn't.
No, he hasn't missed any games. Well, yeah, you can count the Carolina game.
Right, right.
That's
He hasn't
yeah,
missed any games, but yeah, I think he was out for at least 3.5 quarters in that
yeah,
Carolina game.
yeah. That's true.
Um, that was one of the concerns with Jaden coming into the year. Was going to be availability and injury concerns. So Bo Nix is coming on strong. He won the Rookie of the Week award, and Jaden I think won 5 of those already. I don't think Bo Nix
Five
has
or
5.
six. I know
Yeah,
he set like the record, I think.
yeah. So for me, I don't think Bo Nix until he has that many Rookie of the Week awards, it shouldn't really be a conversation that he's taken over Jaden. Is he in
Yeah.
the conversation? Yeah, I think he is in the conversation. But I don't think he's taken over Jaden. So I like Bo Nix. You've been banging the table about Bo Nix. I think you're right, man. I think you're onto something. What a year for the draft. What a year for the Commanders to get lucky and be at the top of the draft where we have good quarterbacks and we don't mess it up. Like
Yeah.
so often we get this opportunity and we mess it up. We pick the wrong pick, but we got Jaden Daniels and man, it feels good. So yeah, how crazy is it again to see this list? 2 stardoms on the list are rookies. That's crazy, and we
Yeah.
both can start them. So that's great for them.
Yeah. So go ahead and start those 3 players out there, Brodies. Hope you guys are taking our advice and you're winning your games here. But for the sit 'em here, we want to sit one of the rookies in this draft class here. That's Drake May. We're going to go ahead and sit him this week. I don't see him playing too well. See, they got the Dolphins. The Dolphins defense is pretty good there, and it's an away game. So go ahead and sit Drake May. Next, even though he played pretty solid last week, Anthony Richardson. I'm going to go ahead and sit him. The Lions defense is too damn good, and you'll see in my power rankings where I have the Lions. But I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to be enough for them to win because they're just going to force him to beat him from the pocket, and I don't think he can do that. So go ahead and sit him. And then lastly, he's been on a little bit of a rut here ever since the Hail Mary, Mr. Caleb Williams. Go ahead and sit him. They are playing the Vikings, which is still one of the top defenses in the league. And yeah, I that last week's loss when they lost on a blocked field goal, I think that kind of destroyed their morale. And I don't really see them rebounding from this. They already fired their offensive coordinator, and their head coach is already on the hot seat as well. It's turning into a dumpster fire over there. So go ahead and sit Caleb Williams. What do you think, sir?
I like your list, Seth. I think this is another easy one. I'm probably gonna sit all 3 of these guys. I like Drake out of these 3. I guess Drake May and Anthony Richardson can get points,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
just don't like
yeah.
the way that. What were you gonna say?
No, I was agreeing. Yeah,
Yeah, but I just don't like the way that they're playing. Anthony Richardson, he's like a poor man's Lamar, and I don't even like the way that Lamar is managing. His offense.
yeah,
Anthony Richardson has a lot to learn, and I think he is learning, but I think he's honestly a year or 2 away from what I would really, from me trusting him, week to week on a start him, sit him.
I agree.
So to me, Anthony Richardson is at least a year away. I would sit him. Drake May, same. He's a rookie. He's learning. He's showing a lot of good things, but that team is just not good enough yet. I think one of their best players on offense outside of Drake May is Ramondre Stevenson, the running back. So they're
Mhm.
probably going to be handing the ball over, trusting the defense. It's just not an offensive game that I will be happy with Drake May. And then Caleb definitely looks like he brings each week, he brings the season with him. Like some players can say, it's like a shooter. Shooters don't worry about the last miss. It's on to the next.
Yeah,
Kobe, it didn't matter how many shots Kobe missed all game long by the 4th quarter. Kobe was still pulling up like I'm the best shooter in the world. Caleb, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Body language just doesn't look the best. When they lose, it looks like he has all the losses on his back. Like, I don't mean to pile on him every time we talk about him, but it's just those are the little things that when you're a quarterback you have to do. Anthony Richardson got sat. because he said I was tired. You
Yeah.
can't say that, bro. Like, Caleb, just keep working on your body language. You're really talented. Everybody can see how talented you are. You're gonna be special, but just work on the small things. So yeah, no, I'll be sitting him. And the Vikings have a really good defense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And it's a division game.
and it's a divisional game. So I know one thing I didn't mention was who the quarterbacks are playing. Let me go back to the first one: Justin Herbert and Lamar. Who do you like out of those two? If you had both of those quarterbacks, which one would you start this week?
I mean, numbers wise, I would definitely take Lamar.
Okay.
But I just think that it everybody doesn't have Lamar, in their lineup, and I think Justin Herbert is still out there on some of the waiver wires. So
He is, yeah,
yeah,
he is.
so it's like if you need someone that's going to be a guaranteed starter, I don't know who's on the bye week this week, with some of the teams, but if you have a quarterback on a bye week and Justin Herbert's on there, I mean he's a great pickup.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen is one. The Bills, I don't think the Bills are playing this week. So, like, if you have Josh Allen and Justin Herbert is out there, go get him.
Or Bo Nix,
Hopefully, they got Bo Nix 2 weeks ago when you told them to.
like shit. I didn't because I have Jared Goff on the bench, but we'll get to that later. But as far as the running backs, it's Dallas week, damn it. Okay. Give me B Rob. All right, start him. Start him. Okay. Let's go. 100 yards for B Rob. Bump the 50-yard lock. Give me 100. Okay. It's a horrible defense. Every running back has gone off on them. I don't see any reason why that should stop here. So go ahead and start Brian Robinson there. Again, it's Dallas week. Austin Eckler, start him. Okay, start all of them. I would even put Jerry McNichols in this here, but I didn't have enough space on the banners. Okay, start Austin Eckler. He's going to go off as well. And again, it's Dallas week. The Skins have a terrible run defense. So guess what, y'all? Start Rico Dowdle. Start him as well. It's Dallas week. We give up 5 yards a clip running anyway. I don't see any reason why Rico Dowdle is going to have any issues. So go ahead and start him. Who you got, Wiggs? Do you agree, sir?
Yeah, what a list. What a list. It's funny because I like to do, the running back that's opposite of the person playing. So I'm like, B Rob, all right, we got Dowdle. Yeah, Eckler. All right, we got Dowdle. Dowdle. All right, we got B Rob and Eckler. So hey, I actually like the list. Like, I think you can start all of these guys.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and like you said, we've already talked about it, so we could make this one probably the easiest section of the night. Start them all. I like it.
Start them
I think
all.
they all play a role. I think they all have a role to play. They're going against two weak defenses, so yeah, start them.
Cool. And moving on to the situms, we got Chuba Hubbard. Now, the Panthers, let's see, looks like they play.
Chiefs. I see
They,
why he said them. They
yeah,
play the Chiefs.
they got the Chiefs. So go ahead and sit them. That's all they have. And we hate to keep picking on him. He scored a touchdown last week, but he still hasn't shown me enough. Alexander Madison, go ahead and sit him again.
Hey, do you know what team he plays for this week? He's
He's
on the
playing for the
Raiders.
Raiders,
He
and they're
plays for the
going up against the
Raiders.
Broncos. So I'm like I say, he scored last week, so he kind of shut me up, but he still didn't put up enough points for me to start him. Sit Alexander Madison again. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not doing this on purpose, but he's just not proving anything. And then lastly here, I mean, I don't expect him to really do much this year anyway, but I'm glad to see him back, Mr. Nick Chubb. I don't think he's in football shape yet. Next year he might be at full capacity, but I don't really see him doing much. It's a Thursday night game, so it's a short week, and it's against a division rivalry. And the Steelers got one of the best run stopping defenses in the league. I don't see him doing much. Go ahead and sit him.
Yeah, that's a good list. I think Chuba. When you said Chuba, I'm like, whoa, whoa. But when you look at the opponent, like I said, Chris Johnson is probably to me the best defensive tackle in the league right now. So I would not want to be running against the Chiefs. So yeah, sit Chuba, and then I like the person they're going against, Kareem Hunt. I would be starting Kareem Hunt if I had to choose between those two. So yep, sit
And
Chuba.
Pacheco's back.
Oh, okay. So then maybe take Hunt out because that's. Do you know who's starting between those two?
I'd probably say
Maybe
if
they're
they're to
just gonna
start, they would
split.
start Hunt and then kind of grandfather Pacheco back in. But I
Yeah,
mean, if he's good to go, start him.
yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be an interesting one. Like you said, Madison. Sorry to that man. I don't know who you are. I know who you are. I'm gonna say it every week. I know who you are, but you got to
I don't
prove
know
it.
who you are,
I
man.
don't know who you are. You got to prove it. So Madison, you got to prove it. Same thing for his opponent, Javonte Williams. I've seen his stats go up and down. I like what he looks like when he's playing. So I'm not quite sure if that's a an offensive scheme thing. You know, maybe Bo Nix is spreading the ball around. You know, Cortland Sutton this week, Javonte this week, somebody else the week after. But he's just not doing enough for me. So I'll be sitting Madison and Javonte. And then Chubb versus Harris. I thought Nick Chubb was gonna do more than he's doing this year. He had another year where he was injured and he came back and he hit the ground running like nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
That's not happening this year. So maybe once the playoffs roll around, he might be in good shape, but that's just not a good time period for you to trust somebody right now. He hasn't proven anything, so you gotta sit Chubb until he can show you he can do something. If you want to keep him at the end of your bench, just as a possibility, I would because I like Jameis with the Browns offense. I will say that
Yeah.
Jameis Winston is definitely having the Browns look like an actual team that can run an offense. So I do like Jameis, but I'm not liking Chubb right now. So sit him.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, man. Moving on here with the wide receivers, he's been hitting our parlay locks ever since we added him, Mr. George Pickens. Okay, go ahead and start him. I think him and Russell Chef Wilson are they're actually developing a bond that's quite frankly pretty remarkable considering how everybody thought Russell Wilson was dead in the water. But in actuality, maybe he just needed a coach to hold him accountable and told him to stop being such a diva. When he got to Pittsburgh, Tomlin said, "Look, you're not going to have your entourage here. You're not getting your own office. You're not getting your own shower. You're not doing all that crap. This is Steeler Nation. We don't need you. You need us. Okay." And yeah, and it's working. It humbled his ass and brought him back down to earth. And him and Pickens are actually starting to develop a pretty good chemistry. So go ahead and start him. And again, I've been saying it all show, but it's Dallas week. Scary Terry, go ahead and start him, baby. Start him. Okay. I don't see Trayvon Diggs doing anything. Okay. They're too concerned about the subjects on the podcast. They're trying to keep up with the Brodies. Okay. So, no, I don't want to hear it. Scary Terry, go ahead and start him. And then, of course, like I said before, it's Dallas week. So go ahead and start CeeDee Lamb. Okay. If I'm going to put him in my lock, I'm going to put him in my stardom. Okay. I don't think Lattimore is playing, and if he does, I wouldn't expect him to play at a high level coming fresh off an injury and still getting acclimated to a new team's defensive scheme. So go ahead and start CeeDee Lamb. Who you think?
No, I agree with this list. Yeah, I mean George Pickens. I'm trying to think of the Browns. The Browns do have some good DBs. They do have a good defense, but I think George Pickens has got a touchdown in the last two games. I want to say. I know he got one versus Commanders. I think he got one last week. And like you said, him and Russell have a good chemistry. He's the number one receiver on their team, the best receiver by far on their team. So you got to start George Pickens. Terry McLaurin versus the Cowboys. That's an easy start. Like it's a divisional game, but Trevon Diggs, the DB that's going to be checking him. He's not a Quinyon Mitchell. He's not a cover corner
No.
the way Quinyon is. So he may get a pick from Jaden, but he's not going to be shutting Terry down. Terry's going to have a big game. And then same for CD. I think even if Marshawn Lattimore came back, I don't see him stopping CD Lamb in his first week on a new team.
Yeah,
So CD
exactly.
is going to have a good game. Our defense just, it's tough versus good receivers. It's really tough versus good receivers. And like I said, we just, until we get Lattimore, I don't think we have the pieces to stop a number one receiver. I just don't think we have the pieces. I think with Lattimore
Yeah,
back, we can move the pieces around, but yeah, we're not built to stop a receiver. So I like CD in the starting too.
perfect. And as far as the sit-ems go, since I'm sitting Anthony Richardson, go ahead and sit Michael Pittman. The chemistry just hasn't developed yet. I think him and Downs, I think him and Downs actually have a better chemistry than him and Pittman. And Pierce is he's a no-show either. So go ahead and sit Michael Pittman. Next player, Deontay Johnson. It's just not gelling right now. And I think the reason why is because the Ravens offense, they don't need another wide receiver. You know, like they got Zay Flowers, they got Andrews, they got Likely, they got Bateman, they got uh Henry, they got Hill. They didn't need another weapon. So and I think he's the odd man out. And yeah, so go ahead and sit him. I don't think he's gonna do much. And then lastly, Jalen Waddle. I don't know where the disconnect is. Again, I think Tua is. I think he's still shell shocked, bro. I and I don't know if they are trying to hold back the playbook. I don't know, but for some odd reason, they're not taking the deep shots that like they normally would. Maybe because their run game isn't as good. Achan and Mostert were normally like a two-headed monster that kind of opened up the play action. I don't know, but Jalen, he's not eating. So go ahead and sit him. I look for a tight game over there in New England, like maybe like 21-17, something like that. But go ahead and sit Jalen Waddle. What do you think?
That's some really good analysis. I'm going to have to really think about that deep shots take you just mentioned because when you said Waddle, it made me think of Tyreek. I don't even know how many passes Tyreek Hill has of like 40-yard plus catches this year compared to the
Very few.
past years. Like last year, it felt like he had one at least one every week. It felt like, if
Yeah.
not two, with the touchdown. So not only am I sitting Waddle, I was gonna say I might sit Tyreek, but Tyreek has been doing a little bit better week by
He's
week.
starting to come along. Yeah.
He's starting to come along. He's starting to be consistent. So I'm not gonna be dramatic and sit Tyreek, but I'm definitely sitting Waddle. Like right now, I think they are minimizing the playbook. I think they're going to a chain. I think they're going to Tyreek and Jonnu Smith, the tight end, is kind of getting open.
He's starting to emerge. Yep.
And I think again, when your quarterback needs help, go to your tight end, go to your number one receiver, go to your running game. That
Yep.
means the second receiver is going to get left out. The second tight end is going to get left out. So yes, it Waddle. Man, your analysis on Deontay Johnson is spot on. I don't even know if I have to add anything to it. It's so good. He wasn't needed in this offense. If anything, I would say he's a Zay replacement. If let's say
Yeah.
something happens to Zay,
Yeah.
that's what I look at Deontay Johnson as, and I think they're just kind of going to keep getting him acclimated into the game just in case something happens to Zay. Uh, but the same way I went with Waddle and Tariq, on this one I'm gonna go with Deontay Johnson and Zay. I said it 3 weeks ago. I said sit Zay. He ended up having a good week after that week. He's had two down weeks ever since. I don't know if you saw the end of the game versus the Steelers, but Zay dropped a big pass from Lamar Jackson that would have given them a first down and kept the clock going. And I want to say it was either third down or fourth down. I think it was third down. But if he makes that catch, They get the first down and they keep going down the field. He dropped that one. I want to say he dropped another. Didn't end up with the yardage. So um, I'm gonna say sit, and he's probably gonna have a big game this week. But I think what I would have said to myself 2 weeks ago, because I put him on my parlay and he missed. What I would say to myself is, even if he has a bad week, they're not consistent.
Yeah.
So that's my thing with the Ravens. They're not consistent in their offense. There's no reason Derrick Henry isn't getting 18 carries, so he's probably going to get the 18 carries this week. So yeah, that's why I would go against them. And then Pittman and Downs, like you said, Anthony Richardson is not as consistent to me as Joe Flacco was, and I do think Downs is his more of the primary target. So I would go with sitting both of them just because I'm not a fan of Anthony Richardson this year. I think he has a lot of maturing to do. Again, just like Caleb, he has a lot of talent, but he just needs to mature a little bit more. So sit
Yeah.
him, sit him, sit him.
Yeah, so that is the lineup so far with our quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers. To round things off here, we'll talk about the tight ends for the start 'em, sit 'em. I just picked them up off the waiver wires, Mr. Cade Otton. Go ahead and start him. Okay, go ahead and start him. Mike Evans, excuse me, still isn't back. I don't believe.
No, I
Obviously,
think
Godwin is out.
they say he's gonna come back this week. They say, but he
We'll
still
see.
needs this should help Kate out in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Along with the run game. So definitely start Cade Otton. Uh, and I've been saying it ever since we started here, baby. You know, it's Dallas week. Zach Ertz. Start Zach Ertz. And I think we got Wiggs with another tech issue in the middle of starting center. Once again, charge your phone, dude. Like, what are we doing here? It's all good. We'll get them back later, but we'll go ahead and finish off this the stardom sit here. I don't think he'll have any issues with my picks here, but Zach Ertz, he's been a great tool for Jaden Daniels. He's been a safety blanket. He had a really great game against the Eagles. I think he's going to go ahead and continue with that. And then we got Jonnu Smith. Like Wigg said, him and Tua are actually starting to develop a little bit of a chemistry. Tua hasn't really been notorious for using his tight ends, but with Jalen Waddle having a little bit of a down year, him and Jonnu Smith are actually creating a nice tandem here. So go ahead and start Jonnu Smith. And for the sit 'em, I'm going to say Dalton Schultz. Okay, you want to go ahead and sit him. Like I mentioned earlier, Nico Collins and Joe Mixon are the top primary players that Stroud works with. Okay, and then the third option is going to be Tank Dell. So that unfortunately puts Dalton Schultz at the bottom of the totem pole. I don't see him getting many touches. Go ahead and sit him. Next, we got Pat Freiermuth. Now, Russell Wilson, also one of those quarterbacks who isn't notorious for working with his tight ends. So Pat is normally off and on when it comes to his performances. And since it's a divisional game, I don't think he's going to get many touches as well. Go ahead and sit him as well. And then lastly, we got Cole Kmet. Now, your boy Caleb Williams he hit a little bit of a rookie wall. So it is what it is. It's nothing against him. But even when he was thriving, Cole Kmet really wasn't eating. So I don't really see him doing much either. And again, they're going up against a tough defense with the Vikings. So I don't really see I really don't see him really getting too many touches. But that is your stardom sit-em list here. Now, again, if you are not following us, you need to follow us at Brodie Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube. Also on TikTok, we're over 10,000 views and counting. So we definitely appreciate your support. But while my main man Wiggs gets his stuff together, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break and pay some bills. We'll be right back. It's the Brodie Sports Talk Show. All right, y'all, we are back. Had some tech difficulties, had to pay some bills. You know, Verizon, they did the auto debit, but it didn't clear. It got returned. So we had to call them and make sure that they got the right debit card on file. But we are back. Now, as usual, folks, if you're not following the Brodies, you need to follow us at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, and also on TikTok. We are at 10,000 views and counting. Our goal is 15,000 by the end of, I'd probably say by the end of beginning in December. I think that's a realistic goal at this pace.
That's right.
So yeah, click on the bottom right hand corner and subscribe or like or follow on all our platforms. We definitely appreciate it. But moving right along here, we got our fantasy talk here. So let's go ahead and go over the scoring leaders from last week. I have my boy Jared Goff starting for Kyler Murray, who was on the bye week. Great pickup. Jared Goff gave me 58.70 last week. My main man Bo Nix with 53.85, and then Joe Burrow with 52.60. Both of those guys are on a roll right now. Running backs, your boy Joe Mixon, 34.30 points, which got you that close narrow margin win. For anyone that was keeping up the shoe crew battle, I was up by 32 points, no, 30 points, and Mixon gave you 34-30, and I ended up losing by 4.30. It was, yeah. Ah, you little bastard. Freaking Joe Mixon. And also on that stacked team of yours, you had Saquon Barkley, who gave us 32.80 points as well. Brees Hall rounded it up with 27.60 points. For the wide receivers, I had Amon-Ra St. Brown. He gave me 33.20. Great trade. I think I ended up trading Mac for him. I traded Amon-Ra St. Brown for Amon-Ra St. Brown. I gave him Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I won that trade. Cooper Kupp gave us 25.60. T. Higgins 25.30. And the tight ends, yeah, Taysom Hill, random start. If you started him, you ate. If you didn't, it is what it is. Taysom Hill, 40 points. Jonnu Smith, we just talked about how him and Tua are developing a chemistry. He had 25.10 points. And then Brock Bowers, he had 24.80 points. You left him on the bench, thank God, because that could have been a different outcome. But those are your scoring leaders, man. I think it's safe to say that these quarterbacks are starting to hit their stride now. And they're starting to put up some points, man. But what's even more dangerous is that the run game is still steady. So if you have one or two of these people on your team, you have a shot at winning.
Yeah. So let's get into this list, man. So what's so crazy about this list? You said Jared Goff had 58. The running backs. So you have Jared Goff with
Mm-hmm.
58 points. I have Joe Mixon and Saquon Barkley with 34 and 32. You
Mm-hmm.
also have Amon Ra with 33.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have Cooper Cup on this?
No, I got Puka Nakua.
Oh, you have, and Puka had a good game, right?
Yeah, I think he had like 18 or 20. He had a pretty
Yeah,
solid
he had
game.
like 18 or 20. Um, so I mean, like we read the matchup recap before we got on, and let me just let me just pull those out again. I mean, and just to, I mean, man,
Freaking Dallas Cowboys. They even lose when I need them to win.
I mean, yeah, no, thank you, Cuz. But yeah, no, so Shoe Crew, this was the Shoe Crew week. You won the first matchup, week 4, 151 to 147. I mean, and those are the games you hate to lose. I hate losing a game when I score 140
Yeah.
points and I lose to the only person that has 150. Those are the games you hate to lose in fantasy. So, like, and I gave up on by Sunday. By Sunday, like halfway through the day, I was like, Co is beaten. I think I looked early at 1 o'clock and I was up, and I was like, okay, I got a chance. And then by like 3 o'clock, it was like, nah, this is over. It's not gonna. I might as well call it quits. To come back and win this with Joe Mixon getting 3 touchdowns, it's kind of crazy because, like I said before, the referees they did their job. They called that long touchdown back by Nico Collins because this doesn't happen if Nico Collins gets that first touchdown. This doesn't happen because I needed every yard that Mixon got
Yep.
uh, to come back and get that win. But going back to just the players, Jared Goff to go from 5 interceptions to 4 touchdowns is kind of
Told you, you can
crazy,
only go but
man.
up.
Yeah, like you kind of knew that he would do good, but I mean that's kind of crazy. Um, Amon-Ra, even with the 33, I think that's probably the most points he scored all season.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely a breakout game for him, and needed that. I think the reason why his production is down is because Montgomery and Gibbs are just too damn good right now, and Williams is taking all the reps from Laporta. So your boy Amon Ra, he's only going to get certain amount of touches, but when he gets them in pertinent situations like goal line situations and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely a great game from him.
Let me ask you about. So we're talking about the good players. We didn't really talk about the bad players, and maybe why some players are playing bad. So you talked about Taysom Hill getting 42. Another player that I have on my team is Alvin Kamara. He did okay. I think he got like 10 or 11 points. So
Yeah.
he did what I needed him to do. But I was expecting him to have like 24 or 30 points. And Taysom Hill got 3 touchdowns. Like, can I get one of those touchdowns? So,
Yeah, he's one of them guys that if like he's hit or miss each week.
yeah, he's
You
like a
know,
gadget player. Like,
yeah, and he steals the carries from Kamara, especially on goal line. And it's a phrase that they have on NFL Fantasy Talk called "That helps no one," and they name a bunch of random players that score, and they be like, "That helps no one." And it's like because no one has them on their starting lineup. Like
yeah,
no one's starting Taysom Hill, but the dude put up like god amazing numbers, and it's just like, well, that helps no one because
every
no one's
week in
starting him.
fantasy, yeah, every week in fantasy, if you look at the top 3 or top 5 players, whether it's quarterback, running back, receiver, or tight end, there's going to be somebody there that you don't know that nobody has on there in the roster. Like, if you, so that shows if you know how to use the waiver wire. Like we mentioned, my tight end, I left Brock Bowers on the bench. I freaking just thought George Kittle was playing, and I didn't look at the injury report, I guess, until Sunday. And I hate that they do that. They wait until the day of the game to
Yeah.
say this player is not playing. I mean, I'm not gonna say I hate that they do that. I should have checked my I should have checked my team before 1 o'clock. I looked at
Yeah.
my team at 107, and I'm like, damn, Brock Bowers is on the bench for George Kittle, and Brock Bowers is already playing. He ends up having 24 points. I pick up Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki had like 20 points last week. He got 0 points this
He's so
week.
inconsistent. He's so
Like,
inconsistent.
what is
I've
going on
picked
in
him up like
fantasy?
twice already and dropped him 3 times. Like
Oh
he's too
man, so
inconsistent.
yeah, so once you get burned, you know this is my first time picking him up this year. And I think I dropped him right away. Like, bro, get off my team. I already have a tight end. I just happened to leave him on the bench the week that he has the best. But that was gonna be my talking point this week was me leaving Brock Bowers on the bench. And Joe Mixon basically does the Jaden Daniels Hail Mary for me. Like wins it for the whole team, so I don't have to talk about leaving 24 points on the bench and losing.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, no. Oh, and the other player I wanted to talk about, T. Higgins, because they're saying he may be coming to the Commanders next week. I mean,
That,
next year.
that'd be a good pickup.
Um, I don't know if you watched any of the highlights of the Bengals game, but T. Higgins looked really good.
Yeah, he
Uh,
had a great game. He had
he's
9 receptions, 148 yards receiving in the TD. That's a great game.
really big target. He would do great in our offense. Like that's exactly what we're missing. Having Terry McLaurin on one side and T. Higgins on the other side would just, man, it would just open up the whole field. So if we can get T. Higgins next year, I think his numbers will go up even more. And
Definitely.
they're up with Herbert. I mean with Burrow, but I think he could go up because he would be probably the number one receiver with us, where Jamar Chase is the number one receiver there.
So just looking here in our league, the three teams that are your team, Grady's team, and my team, we are the only teams in the league that are above 500.
No, that's not true. We have two 6-5 teams.
Let's see. Hold on.
Machine and
No, Mac is 5-5. I'm
he's
looking. I'm
only
looking at
five.
it right now.
He's not 6-5.
Nah. So I'm 7-3. Machine is 5-5. Femi is 4-6. Brahma Bulls. Who's that? Toast.
No, that's not right, Code. Because this is week 11.
Hold on.
That's last week's numbers.
Let me refresh. That's probably what it is. Give me one
Yep.
sec. Okay, yep, you're right. Okay, so we got you and Grady at 7-4. I'm
And
at
you.
7-4. So we got a
Yep.
three-way tie, 7-4. And then there is a two-way tie at 6-5.
Mm-hmm. Put it
Yeah.
on. You see where it says league? I think
Yep.
you have it on division. Put it on league and then refresh it on league, and it'll give you the 1, 2, 3.
Yep. So right now I am 3.
Yeah, but we all have the same
And
record. Me, you, and Grady are
yep.
all 7-4. So,
Yep. So it's just a point differential that's separating the three of us. And
and you can see
then
I'm
we
going
got a
crazy
two-way
with the
tie, six
points
and
right
five.
now. I'm going crazy with points in the league, but it doesn't matter because it's all about who you face. And I could have been 6-5. I was 2 points, 3 points away from being 6-5, and you being in first place. So, but like we said, first place doesn't matter. Is what do you do when the playoffs start? So,
Yeah. Yeah. So and right now I'm at the third, I'm in the third seed. So we know the history of the third seed. So if I go into the playoffs at the third seed, y'all better put the group chat on mute. Because I am going to troll y'all for 1 month straight.
yeah, no,
Okay?
we already said whenever you win the chip, we're kicking you out the group
You
because it's
better.
gonna be
You
bad.
better. And you know what? I'm gonna pull up because I know where all y'all niggas live. Excuse me for the sponsors.
Hey, that's the only
But
thing
this
that
is
it's
personal.
only right. It's only right
It's
that that
only
would be the
right, yo.
response.
But yeah, so speaking of injuries, let's go ahead and move on to the injury status report. Now, a lot of these players are listed as questionable just because they're banged up, but still something that you got to take into account. And to your point, this list gets updated at the last minute. So if you don't have your notifications on, or if you just don't have the habit of checking your status or your players, you could end up missing something because that happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I saw Brian Robinson as questionable, didn't really think nothing of it, and then he was a game time decision, but Darnell Mooney, he's listed as questionable. Dalton Kincaid is questionable. DeAndre Swift, questionable. CD Lamb is questionable. Josh Jacobs is questionable. Calvin Ridley and Tank Bigsby also questionable. Now, they still have Pacheco listed as IR, but he's actually going to be playing, so I think he's good to go. Tyreek Hill is still questionable. Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts are questionable, along with Devontae Smith. And Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Mike Evans, like we mentioned earlier, are still questionable. Austin Cyber is listed as questionable, but I don't think he's going to play. I think Gonzalez is probably going to get the nod. But those are your players on the injury report. Like I said, I think all of these players are going to play, but I think it's just something to be cognizant of closer to game day. Some of them might still be a game time decision. You never know. But if you're not following us here on Brody Sports Talk for all your fantasy news and all of your parlay picks here, you need to be following us here at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube, also on TikTok. Again, we're at 10,000 plus views and counting. We're looking to get to 15,000 by the beginning of December, so we definitely appreciate your love and support. But let's go ahead and move into our last take here, Wiggs.
Let me
Now,
hold on.
yeah,
Let's go back to the injury report real quick.
okay.
So CD, I'm wondering if the Cowboys might be getting to that. Let's just shut it down.
That tank mode, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they could, but I
And
just gave this dude a whole bunch of money.
exactly that's true. But I know you. Or let me ask: did you hear what Michael Irvin said about something you've been one of your first takes of the show?
Prime time.
Dion. Prime time and Shador coming to Dallas. Did you hear what Michael Irvin said?
Yeah, he's kind of insinuating that they should go ahead and tank the rest of the season, bring in Dion, bring in Shador, keep that tandem together. I think that would be great.
Go
That
ahead,
would
sit
definitely put some
CD
butts in
out.
the seats.
Yeah, so CD, just go ahead, have a seat this week. I know it's Dallas Commanders week, or this might be the last game. You know what? Let's play this one. This is a divisional game.
Yeah.
Let's play this one, and then after this, let's shut it down for the rest of the year. And let's go get Shador.
But see, if they do that, then the writing's on the wall. I don't know if Jerry Jones is that bold to do that. He doesn't fire coaches in the middle of the season. That's not his style. But we already know Mike McCarthy's on his way out of here. So yeah, if they sit CD, it's a clear indication that they're going to tank the rest of the season, and they're going to bring in Promise Shador, and Promise is going to just continue to do what I know he was going to do, and that's just secure the bag. He don't give a damn about nothing else. Yeah, he likes coasting out there in Colorado, great, but he's going to whoever's paying him the most. Hence why he was in San Francisco in '94 and Dallas in '95, because they cut the check. So that's what's going to happen. And he knows Jerry Jones ain't afraid to cut the check. So they're going to bring him in. They're going to give him full autonomy. They're going to let him revamp the entire system. And he's going to bring in Shador. And I'm going to be borderline watching the Cowboys for that exact reason. So yeah,
Hey,
I'm with you.
that's funny as hell. I mean, yeah, no, and that's Jerry's world. Like, you
Yeah,
know, Jerry loves his former players. Dion helped them win a chip. So it just would give Jerry something to talk about. And
yeah.
this year was so bad. This year has been so bad for him. Like, I think they cut to him at this last game and he wasn't even in the chair. Like, we've been seeing Jerry have the sad face and stuff like that. He wasn't even in the chair. Like,
Right, this joint is breaking his heart.
yo, I'm
And
like, I can't even watch
hey,
the
look, you're
game.
rich. I don't feel bad for you. F you.
Yeah, for real.
and,
Like, we
and
don't
it's his
care.
own
Yeah,
fault too.
get ready to get more this week. Come to DC. But yeah, no. So CD, that was one thought on CD. Let me see who else did I see on the list. I think we talked about Pacheco earlier. How
Yeah.
that's going to affect Kareem Hunt when he comes back in the lineup. Um, Tyreek Hill. You mentioned the deep shots earlier. What's going on with Tyreek? Do you think it's just the fact that Tua? Do you think it's Tua more than anything, or is this something going on in the league? Because I don't think we're seeing as many deep shots as we used to. I know I sent
Well,
you that thing about the Tom Brady Mahomes stat where Mahomes
yeah,
had like 38 touchdowns through 10 games
yeah.
versus Mahomes. Like, what's going on with the quarterbacks and the deep shots?
There's been an evolution with pass coverage. The cover two defense has evolved. You got a lot more press man cornerbacks in the league now than ever, if you ask, in my personal opinion. Then you have the pass rush. I mean, you got 300-pound linemen running 4.5s. Eventually, that's going to take a toll on offenses. And again, the dual threat quarterback era that we're in, they're still trying to evolve. So the deep passes are predicated off of play action passes more so than ever. The traditional drop pack, 5 step, 7 step, deep routes, those don't exist anymore. The only two quarterbacks realistically that are still doing that is Jared Goff and maybe Patrick Mahomes. But you're not really seeing too many deep shots because of these dual threat quarterbacks still trying to evolve. And like I said, that cover two defense, man, they're 15 yards back, you know, and then when you already have your cornerbacks 10 yards back, if you're not running any slants or any comeback routes, it's kind of hard to go deep. And then a lot of these defenses are running nickel and dime based defenses now, where you're having more cornerbacks. So
Like you said, it's kind of hard to go deep.
oh, pause. Oh, pause. Yeah, hey, but the reality is, it's kind of hard to go deep right now. There's a resistance with going deep. Okay, so you know, they're gonna get that figured out eventually. But I mean,
But
the run
but the
game.
analysis, no, that analysis was spot on, Co. Like starting it off, mentioning the coverage that a lot of these teams are facing. It is a good zone coverage, and you can see when they do get beat. Like I'll think of Jamar Chase. He's not really beating them deep. He's just beating the cover two cornerback to the spot, and then the safety is not fast enough to catch him.
And it's a
So
catch
that's
and
what
run.
we're seeing now. It's not so much they're beating you over the top,
Yeah,
long throws. It's kind of like like you
more
said,
intermediate. Yeah, it's like in the
they,
middle. It's right
and then
over the
that person
linebackers,
breaks
but
it for a
right
long throw.
before the safeties. Yeah,
Yep. So
yeah,
that's why the receivers that are the number one receivers right now, it's the receivers that can do something after the catch. Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson. You have to be a big receiver like that to break some Debo Samuel is good because they say Debo Samuel's not a great route runner, but he's great after the catch.
great. Yeah, great
McLaurin,
for yards
Mc-
after the catch.
exactly. McLaurin's not quite in that top five yet because he's not breaking it for a touchdown. He can get the long catch over the top, but he's not quite breaking it after the catch and getting to
Yeah,
the touchdown.
yeah.
But that great analysis on the deep shots. Because I would love to see Tyreek get. Where's his 200-yard game? I feel like last year he was getting like 140, 160, 180, two
Yeah,
touchdowns here, like every game last year. Let me see that from Tyreek. I know he's on the injury list, but I think he's going to play. And then Cyber, like I don't want Dan Quinn to be afraid of the backup. The backup kicker played well
he's pretty decent.
the last two games. He's
Yeah,
played well. So
I don't think they're gonna force his return.
if we get into another situation like that, let's kick the field goal this time. So
Yeah,
that's it.
bet. Bet, man. So to wrap things up here, Brody's, before we do again, you need to be following us on Brody Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok. Click on the bottom right hand corner, subscribe, like and follow and share with your family and friends. But for the last take here, for me, I'm going to give you guys a revised list here of my power rankings. So we got the top 5 power ranking revisions here. For me, number one, I got the Detroit Lions now. Last week, even though they were playing the ass team and the Jaguars, they still put up 50 some odd points on a professional football team. So they're playing lights out. Gibbs and Montgomery arguably are the best running back tandem in the league. And with Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would say at least a top 10 wide receiver. You can make an argument for top 5. Jared Goff, right now, top 10 quarterback, MVP candidate, if you ask me. So give me the Lions at number 1. They're really rolling on all cylinders here. Number 2, give me the Buffalo Bills. They just ended the undefeated streak. They're actually more dangerous on offense than I thought they were. With Amari Cooper, Coleman, Jarrett Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and Josh Allen right now is the second runner-up, or is the first runner-up to the MVP. Like right now, I still feel like actually now after this win, I think Josh Allen right now is the front runner for MVP. I think him and Lamar have swapped. And that's the reason why I got them at number 2. Number 3 is still my homeboy here. Give me the Chiefs. I mean, they lost, but it was only one loss. Their defense is still stout. Their offense is coming around. They got Pacheco back, so look for their offense to pick it up a tick or two. Give me the Chiefs at number 3. Number 4, give me the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC, but I think you can make an argument that the Eagles are the second best. They have a great defense. Their offense is just as potent, and right now they're kind of angry because, like you said last week, Wiggs, they're flying under the radar. The media isn't even giving them their flowers. They're not even showing them any type of love. So I think they got a chip on their shoulder, and I think winning cures all evils. They're not talking about the relationship with Hurts and what's that clown's name? Sirianni or something like that. So yeah, winning cures all evil, and give me at number 4. Number 5, I'm gonna stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense is still hot. Their offense is turning around. Mike Thomas is always a Coach of the Year candidate. So I like them to round off number 5. They got a division game this week against the Browns. I think that's going to be a win. Give me a 17-10 type of score. And they keep rolling, man. So that's my revised power rankings for the top 5. I got the Detroit Lions at 1. Give me the Buffalo Bills at 2, Kansas City Chiefs at 3, Philadelphia Eagles at 4, and Pittsburgh at 5. Do you concur, sir?
You're this close, Co. You were this close. So number 1, Lions, spot on. Like you said, they played the team, the team that was ass, the Jaguars. Hey, I thought you were about to say Dallas, but no, the Jaguars are trash. But again, they put up 50. Like, you put up 50, you're doing what you're supposed to do. They got Sonic and Knuckles and Gibbs and Montgomery. Like you said, Amon-Ra is one of those receivers that can make something happen after the catch.
Yeah,
That's what puts him in that top 5, top 10 conversation at least. And Goff is having one of the better quarterback managing years. He's a good quarterback in a great situation. He might be in the best situation in the league. I think I said it earlier. He might be in the best situation in the league. So he's good, and that's making him look great. Now let's get to number 2. The Bills. I concur.
okay.
What I don't concur on at number 2 is Josh Allen being the MVP yet.
Okay.
I said 2 weeks ago, I think I bet on the Bills versus the Dolphins. And I said 2 weeks ago that Josh Allen was going to throw 3 touchdowns and put himself in the MVP conversation. He did that, but I think 2 weeks ago, Lamar had like a crazy game. So it was Lamar all by himself. Lamar had another good game, and then he lost. And then he lost again. So Josh Allen is getting closer. He is in the conversation now. But I think it's still Lamar as a favorite, in my opinion. Vegas does have Josh Allen as a favorite, but I think Lamar is actually the favorite for MVP still. My number 3 is where we disagree, but not by much. I have the Eagles at 3.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs showed you that they're starting to show some chink in the armor.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what's going on with Kelce and Mahomes. Kelce had 8 yards. Hopkins had, I want to say, 29 yards. He was the only one that we missed on the parlay, and we only needed him to get 40 yards. Mahomes threw 2 interceptions, one early and one late when it really counted. Like I said, I think Andy Reid could just be trying stuff out. They were really trying to get the ball to Xavier Worthy. When I watched the highlights, that was something I could notice. But 8 yards for Travis Kelce, that's crazy. And that's concerning because this is not the first time that Kelsey's had a bad game.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, for me, bringing the Chiefs down. They actually have a loss now. So now it's like, all right, let's rank them where they really are, not where the mystique of an undefeated season is saying they should be ranked.
Yeah.
So I kind of brought them down to reality, I would say, at 4, and the Eagles at 3. But when I was thinking about my list, when I think about who can win the Super Bowl, I still have the Chiefs at number 1.
Okay.
So I don't know if that makes sense as far as power rankings go, because this is kind of regular season power rankings. But when it comes to Super Bowl, I'm not betting against Mahomes.
Yeah,
So
not a chance. Not a chance. I mean, I'm only picking Lamar to win the Super Bowl this year because I think this is the last legit opportunity for him to make it. But like you said, once the playoffs start, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City, and if it doesn't go through Kansas City, you're going to be detoured and have to go through Buffalo. So yeah,
Yeah, I would say the AFC, whew,
stacked.
stacked. Yeah, Lamar, Mahomes, Allen. Yeah, three MVPs right there. And then number 5, I have the Steelers. So, like I said, we weren't very far off.
We got the same teams, but just in a different order. Okay.
Yeah, we literally have the same teams. I think we said last week it was going to make the top 5 very clear. Some of those teams like the Steelers beating the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens would have been in my top 5, but they lost to the Steelers. So you have to go below the Steelers. You lost to them. The Chiefs, I would have had the Chiefs higher, but they lost to the Bills. You got to go below the Bills. The Eagles beat the Commanders. I have so much respect for the Commanders this year. Again, a top 5 offense. And the Eagles defense really made the Commanders offense look like they made them look kind of regular.
Yeah,
and it's been very difficult for teams to do that. A lot of teams have come in talking and saying, "Oh, it's a simple offense." The Eagles really made them look like a simple offense. So I really wanted to give them their credit in this top 5. And yeah, the Lions are just
lights out right now, baby.
Yeah,
lights
they're
out.
just too good. They're too good.
So that's the power rankings there, Brodies. Let us know what you think. Again, if you're not following us, you need to follow us on Brodie Sports Talk on Instagram and YouTube. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and subscribe, like, and share with your family and friends. That's your power rankings here for the week. Obviously, we'll recalibrate it next week based on how things are going. But Wig, you got something in your soapbox that you want to give out to the streets here. Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the solo shot. And I want you to take the platform and tell them what's on your mind, man.
Let me just move these out the way real quick. Let's talk about the Ravens. This is my last take. I'm going to start it off with Henry and then I'll go into Lamar. Derrick Henry, 13 carries, 65 yards, 5 yards average, 1 touchdown, and the Ravens lose. I'm going to say it week after week. Get Derrick Henry at least 18 touches. I would give him 24. If it's not going to be Derrick Henry, it needs to be some combination of Lamar Jackson and Justice Hill running the ball 24 to 34 times a game at least, because you're averaging 4 to 5 yards a carry. It's just simple math. Let's be smart about this, Ravens. But my actual last take is this about Lamar Jackson. Russell Westbrook just crossed over the 200 threshold for triple doubles in the NBA. He's an MVP, but he doesn't have a chip. And my last take is this. Is Lamar Jackson the NFL version of Russell Westbrook? Lamar Jackson is coming off his second MVP season. He's in what some consider to be his third MV3 season. However, Lamar Jackson does not have a chip. He's had at least 2 chances in these last 2 years to get a chip. Last year, they came up short. Many would point to Lamar's play. I think he would point to his play. I think he would say they had to be better, and I think they've looked better at times this year. They went out and got some additions. They did lose 1 key piece, and I think Patrick Queen, but they have enough to get it done, and they haven't been getting it done. So I think again, my last take is this: is Lamar Jackson the NFL version of Russell Westbrook?
I mean, if we're going to be, obviously there are 2 different sports, so a lot of people might say, how are you going to make the comparisons? But I think what you're trying to say is, we have an elite player that's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer that has impacted the game, that has been planned for as far as like how do you stop this person, and he's got the stats. So yes, that checks all three boxes in my eyes as a Hall of Famer. But
Elite athleticism like we've never seen in both players. You know,
yep,
Russell Westbrook, he's like a mini LeBron. Like he could do anything on the court. He's a Derrick Rose type athleticism as far as point guards are concerned. He's still getting triple doubles at his age. And I think Lamar is going to be the same way. Like Lamar is doing what we expected Michael Vick to do. And Michael Vick, when he came back, he wasn't able to do it. Lamar's been doing this stuff for so long. He's not showing any signs of slowing down. But you see the plays that Russell Westbrook makes in the games where it's kind of the head scratching plays.
yeah, those
And these are the plays these are win or lose type plays. And it's not always his fault. Russell Westbrook is the player that can make a 3-pointer to win the game when he was playing with Kevin Durant. And you see Lamar put the team in the position every week to win. So it's not like it's on Lamar, but you do see the plays where it's like, okay, maybe if Lamar manages the game a little differently, we come out of this a little different. Maybe if he gets to the line of scrimmage, and I think we saw from, I'm not going to compare it to Jaden, but you can see certain quarterbacks get to the line of scrimmage and make a audible. Let's get to this play. If I'm a quarterback and I have Derrick Henry in the field, I don't care what the coach says. I'm giving Derrick Henry the ball, like I said, at least 18 times. I just handed it off on the RPO, coach. That's what I thought was a better play. So yeah, I would say it's a couple things. I probably didn't say everything in the beginning, but I added a couple more there. But you can add some more too if you have some more similarities that you think of, though.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think just like with Dan Marino, with Jim Kelly, with Thurman Thomas, there's a plethora of like just athletes that have all the intangibles, but for some odd reason they just can't get it done when it matters. Now, here's the only thing that I'll use as an advocate for Lamar versus Russell. Lamar has more time. He's 28. So he's entering his prime based on the quarterback position, which is a scary thing as well to think about. He's already got 2 MVPs, possibly a third, and he's just entering his prime. It's something scary to think about. But, he has more time to get it done. But the challenge is NFL, it's the ultimate team sport game, and he has the time to get there, but is the window going to be open long enough? Like after this season, that window's going to start closing even more because you got other quarterbacks that are going to be, on the up and coming, and just like Josh Allen. I mean, his window is getting narrow as well, so the pressure to win is just as high for him as well. So that climb up the hill is going to get even slipperier. So, like, I think to your point, Russell will. Yeah, pause. Yeah, I think Russell Westbrook is a very good analogy because you got an explosive player that is doing all the things that you could ever ask for with the wow moments, the it factor. But it's like, okay, when it's crunch time, can you have enough poise to get the job done? And right now he hasn't proven it. I think Lamar he has a losing record against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Regular season, he has a losing record against the Steelers. So it's just those times where it's like, I don't know if it's him or if the coaches get cold feet and trying to get too cute and outsmart themselves. I don't know what it is. It's just whenever he's playing a game that matters, he just doesn't seem to show up. And who called it? Skip Bayless, competition anxiety. I don't know if that's what it is, but I think he has the time to rectify that, and this year I think with Derrick Henry in the backfield, I really feel like there's no excuse, man. So I definitely agree with that last take. And out there to the Brody world. Let us know what you think. Go ahead and look at all of our platforms, Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, and let us know what you think of our opening takes, our last takes, the injury status report, our stardom situm, and of course our parlay locks. But that does it for this week, y'all. We definitely appreciate all your love and support here. But it's the Lord here, co-world. My main man, J-WIGG, signing off. It's the Brody Sports Talk. We'll see you next week, y'all. All right, Brody.
All right, Brodie.
Peace.
Peace.
Mm.